be making a Demogorgon head. Right off the bat, to get started, I picked up this foam head from Michael's, and this is going to be the base that I'm working off of, so that way I don't have to try and make this on my own. And as you can see, it doesn't have a face on it because the Demogorgons don't have faces. I think to start this off, I'm going to start by cutting a hole in the face, because in the Demogorgon's pictures, it kind of has like this hole, you know, of the mouth. So I want to be able to get that effect. We're just going to kind of carve this thing out as best as we can. Now that I basically have this little hole carved out, I'm just trying to give it a little bit more shape just by kind of leveling the insides a bit. That way it doesn't just look like this just giant hole just carved out for no reason. Lola, do not be eating styrofoam. Lola, no. Lola, no. Now that I have that pretty much cleaned out and carved the way I want it, I need to vacuum up all of this before Lola starts eating foam. Now that the foam mess is cleaned up, we can get back to working. To prevent any fallout from the inside part of this that I just hacked away at, I'm going to coat it with some air dry clay so that way it just keeps all the foam in place. I think by the time that I release this video, part 1 of season 4 will already be out. So you guys will have to let me know in the comments what you thought of part 1. I pretty much finished up the inside of the mouth, but I need to create those gums. Before I can do that, I have to make the teeth so that way I can just stick the teeth in and they can be all set and good to go. If not, it's going to be hard because the clay will dry and then I will have to stick the teeth on top of the gums, and then it won't look like the teeth are sitting in the clay, if that makes sense. To make the teeth, I actually have a different clay. It's the Super Sculpting, and it's going to allow me to bake them, which will speed up that whole process a lot quicker. And then while the teeth are baking, this part will be in the process of drying. The teeth are going to be really simple. They're just going to be sharp triangles, so nothing too fancy. One thing I'm not worried about while making these teeth is making sure that they're all the same. In fact, I'm actually intentionally making some smaller, some a bit bigger, some more sharp than others, just to add a little bit of variation. So I just took the teeth out of the oven and realized that I burnt them. Really bad. Now that the teeth are done, I can start to form the gums in the mouth and then just stick the teeth right in there. I just finished the clay gums for the Demogorgon, but it's getting a little top heavy. As you can see, when I don't hold on to it, it wants to fall on its face. And I can't let that happen because this clay is not dry. I did pick up a baseboard for this, so I'm going to hot glue this face onto the board. Now that it's on the baseboard, it's going to be much more sturdy, and as you can see, I don't have to hold it up anymore. And now I can start sticking those little teeth into the gums. We got the first round of teeth put into the Demogorgon, and now while I'm waiting for that to dry, I can start working on the flaps of the Demogorgon. For this part, I'm going to start by using aluminum foil, and then similar to what I did with the foam, I'm going to kind of smooth that out and get an even texture by applying some of the air drying clay over top. I just finished making this flap to attach to the head of the Demogorgon, and I also baked some more teeth because I ran out, and now I can coat this in air dry clay. As you can see, I finished one of the petals, and now I just need to make 4 more of them. What I thought was just going to be a weekend project actually ended up taking me several days, but stick around to the end because it was totally worth it. Alrighty, the sculpting portion of my Demogorgon is all done and I let it dry for a few days, so now it is ready to paint. One thing that I noticed is I switched clays during this project and I used a much cheaper children's air dry clay and it caused a lot of cracking. You can see all the cracks in there. This is the normal clay that I used and there's still a few cracks, but it's definitely not as bad as these other ones here. Like this crack here is really bad. At this point, there's not much that I can do because I noticed several of these cracks when I was applying clay. And so I tried to patch them up, but it's just not working. So I'm just gonna apply the paint and hope for the best. The first thing on the Demogorgon that I'm going to paint are the teeth. I finally got all the teeth painted and I actually ended up just taking that same color paint and painting the back side of the Demogorgon just because there's a lot of cracks and I just wanted to take some paint and just kind of fill those cracks in a little bit before I bring on the actual color. But now I am ready to start painting the inside of the Demogorgon mouth, so that is what I'm going to do next. While painting this portion, it was very hard not to get paint on the teeth, but I ended up just taking some water and doing a light wash over the teeth, which I think helped them to look more natural. I finally completely finished painting the inside of the Demogorgon's mouth, but right now I think it looks a little flat, so I'm gonna go and add some shadows and highlight just to give it a little bit more dimension. I just got done shading the inside of the mouth and now I just need to paint the outside and I will be all done. At this point I decided to add a little bit of hot glue just to look like saliva in the Demogorgon's mouth. After the final details, I am all done and ready to show you my Demogorgon. And yes, I'm doing the grand reveal with a towel. Ready? Ta-da! Bumps in the road and it took a little bit longer than expected. I am super happy with how this turned out, and if you want to see me create more stuff like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Love you guys, bye!